following this path, and finally who realizes the self, who comes to attain the self. Such a person who has realized and attained the state of enlightenment, he acquires everything, whatever is offered in the world is attained by such a person. He gives an example to make it more clear. For example, if we want water to drink or to take bath, we go to a well. In the good old days, they used to go to the well, to the pond, and then remove the water from there and use it. But suppose there is water everywhere, then the pond and the little well is also included in that water which is everywhere. The whole place is flooded with water. You don't have to go to a specific place to have water or drink it. Similarly, if we want pleasure in this world, we go to a particular object. And the thing is that only a specific object seems to give us pleasure. Not because the pleasure is there in the object, but because we have specific desires and specific likes and dislikes. Therefore, you will find the same object will not give happiness to everyone. And the same object will also not give happiness to us for a long time. It also changes. Because the happiness is not in the object, happiness is in the way we look at that object. It is in the way we think about that object. The way we have projected our likes and dislikes, our idea of greatness, our idea of reality on that object. So, and it is projected with our thinking, with our understanding. Our thinking, our understanding, our feeling constantly changes. Therefore, the pleasure which is seemed to be coming from that object constantly changes. One day I like and I feel happy, next day I don't like it. I can't help it. I don't like it. Some people say, yesterday you liked it so much. Why don't you like it now? I don't like it. What can I do? One child liked tricycle so much that he asked his uncle, please give me tricycle. I want to play. I want to enjoy. And he could not afford. Then after 25 years, he remembered that my nephew wanted tricycle. So on his birthday, he brought it. And he saw a big packet coming up. He opened it. And he saw a tricycle. He was shocked. He said, I had a doubt that this my mama is little, But I never knew it, never confirmed it, but now it is confirmed. So seeing that tricycle, he was not at all happy. His uncle was also surprised. Why was he not happy? Because that desire has changed. His likes and dislikes have changed. His body has changed. His mind has changed. Therefore, the object no longer gives him pleasure. So we start blaming those objects, but it is not defect of the object remaining same. Our mind keeps changing. So our experience of pleasure and pain of this world depends on our mind, depends on our outlook. It is not in the object. The object doesn't contain pleasure, nor does it contain pain. It is just an inert thing. When I am asleep and the objects are there, they don't bother me. But when I am awake, when I look at them, when I think about them, when I feel them, I experience joys and sorrows. So, an ordinary person goes to various objects, not knowing from where he is deriving this happiness. He goes after from one object to another object. from one situation to another situation, from one person to another person, from one job to another job, from one place to another place. Why? Seeking that pleasure, thinking that it is out there. It is not out there, it is only in the condition of your mind. It seems that that object fulfills that condition. It may seem like that for a short time, then again the condition changes. So therefore, the person who, so we keep, see, there is a lot of distraction. So condition of the mind changes, and then the whole thing changes. So the pleasure which we derive from the world and the pain which we derive from the world is in our mind. But we experience happiness, so it must be there somewhere. If we are experiencing happiness, it must be there somewhere. So where is it? The scripture says it is in you. And it is experienced when the mind becomes silent. And mind becomes silent when your desires seem to be fulfilled. When I want something, temporarily, if I get it, my desires seem fulfilled, and mind becomes quiet. In that quietude, I experience the joy which is there inside me. So I try to keep bringing objects, going here and there to quieten my mind. Bhagavan says, why you are putting forth so much effort to quieten your mind by the objects? You can do it by following the path of Karma Yoga. If you follow this path of Karma Yoga, your mind will start becoming more and more peaceful, it will start becoming more and more pure, and without the need for a specific object, you will feel very happy. You will feel very peaceful. You will feel the great satisfaction without the need for a particular situation. And ultimately, when we come to realize and recognize ourselves, the whole heart will be flooded with joy. Then one need not go to any objects for pleasure. So therefore Bhagavan says, Ki Brahmanasya vijanataha, the seeker who has ultimately recognized his own self, for him all that is offered by the Vedas are contained in the self-knowledge. All that is offered by the world, all the pleasures of the world is there within the bliss of the self. It is said that the joy which a self-realized person experiences is more than all the joys of the world and the other world put together. In Taittiriya Upanishad it is said that just imagine the person who is happy in this world, that is considered as one unit of happiness. A young dynamic person, healthy, having proper values of life, having all the facilities of the world open to him. Such a person, the joy which he derives is considered as one unit. 100 times more joy is attained by those who are at a higher plane. More joy is attained by those who are at higher plane in Swarga. In Swarga also Indra Bhagwan attains more joy. Greater than Indra, Brahaspati experiences joy. But a person who has gained that knowledge of the self, he experiences much more. All the joys of the world put together, of the past, of the present, and even future, will be like a one drop of the ocean of joy which the self-realized master experiences. We may not be able to comprehend this. But that's what Bhagavan says, that don't have to worry that, oh, I will lose something. You won't lose something. So you will gain everything. So yavan artha udapane sarvatah samplutodoke, when there is flood everywhere of pure water, then what is the use of a little pond or a little well? You can get water wherever you are. In the same way, what is the use of all the things which are offered in the Vedas? They are there in self-knowledge. But those who don't have this, then they seek this pleasure in Swarga, in Brahmalok, in the various objects of this world only. So this is another very important point which Bhagavan revealed. So after making things very clear to Arjuna that he has to perform his duties with karma yoga attitude, now in the following two verses, Bhagavan reveals this path of karma yoga. These are the most famous verses. The next one is the most famous verse in the Bhagavad Gita, but it is also most misunderstood verse. So let us read that verse and try to understand. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhuhu ma te sangostva karmani karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhuhu ma te sangostva karmani. Karmani eva adhikarah te. Bhagavan says, te adhikarah, your right is only in karma, karmani, in work, in your work. Ma phaleshu kadachana, and not in the result of the action. Ma karma phala heturbhuhu, do not become the cause to give rise to the effect of karma. We'll go through each one of them. And mate sangaha astu akarmani, and do not be attached to non-action or laziness. So the first thing is karmani eva adhikarah te. Bhagavan had mentioned previously that there are these two sections. One is the Sankhya Buddhi and another is called Yoga Buddhi. Sankhya Buddhi is our ultimate goal. Sankhya, knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of ourself. Ultimately, we have to realize and recognize ourself. And that can happen only in a state of meditation. We will be able to recognize who we are when we become free from the disturbance of our mind, when we transcend our mind. Otherwise, our experiences are of the mind. They are not devoid of mind. Like, for example, I wear some goggles. So whatever the color of the goggles, I will see the world also of the same color. But if I want to know what is the exact color of the world, I have to remove my goggles. At present, we are wearing goggles of our mind. And through that, we are looking at ourselves and at the world. The Rajogun, Tamogun, and Sattvagun creates different colors in these goggles, and we look at the world. If we want to see ourselves as we are, we have to remove those goggles. But that is not so easy. But only when it is removed, we will be able to recognize ourselves. And that happens in the deep state of meditation. What is meditation? When the mind becomes silent. When the mind becomes no mind. When the mind stops functioning. Otherwise, the mind constantly thinks and feels and all. Constantly it is active. It is vibrating as though. So when the mind becomes absolutely still, we come to recognize ourselves. That self-recognition or self-knowing is called Sankhya, Sankhya Buddhi. So ultimately we have to know ourselves. But in order to reach this state of quietude of the mind, we have to take the help of Yoga Buddhi. We have to follow